president of the Beethoven Society of Melrose. As many of you may know, this is our first meeting of our 96th season. We're so very excited to see you and to have you out this evening. We also are going to be changing a couple of things up this season and trying some new things. So we hope that you will like them and be just as excited about them as we are. You'll all learn some more about that as the season continues on. And I'm going to keep it short this evening. But what I would like to do is just announce to you your brand new board members in case you are not aware of who they are. And any board member that is here, if you do not mind standing up and just giving a quick, your best, I'll say soprano wave, we would love that. Vice President Barbara Morash. Our Director of Programming, Gabriella Snyder-Stelmack. Our Treasurer and this evening's Director, Mark Morgan. And our Assistant Treasurer, Madeline Minicello. Our Directors of Publicity, Sheila T. and Dorothy Travis. Our Director of Membership, Barbara Finger. And Hospitality, Regina Lucas, Madeline Minicello. And I am going to recognize our piano technician, Joe Mulholland, who is also And right before we begin, I'd like to ask Regina Lucas if she would please come forward. It's The Price is Right. Come on.
Hi, Regina. We have some wonderful institutions in the area. You all know the Melrose Symphony Orchestra has been going on for over 100 years, and we're in our 96th year. Those institutions don't last that long without the people that run them and are there for so long. Regina has been so instrumental to the success. Stand with Regina.
Of the theater, smile on us.
You who sit up there stern in judgment, smile on us.
You who look down on actors, and who doesn't.
Bless this yearly festival and smile on us.
We offer you song and dance.
We offer you rites and revels.
We offer you grace and beauty.
Smile on us for this while.
Gods of the theater, smile on us.
You who sit out there stern in judgment, smile on us.
We offer you song and dance.
We offer you rights and
Offer you
riddles.
gods and heroes.
Jokes and
We offer you fields and pageants, bacchanals, and social comment. Bless our play and smile.
But first, some do's and don'ts. Mostly don'ts. Please, don't cough. It tends to throw the actors off. Have some respect for Aristophanes, and please, don't cough.
Please, don't squeak. We haven't oiled the seats all week.
You wouldn't want to miss a single word of Greek. It's hard enough for us to hear each other speak, so please, don't squeak.
If you see flaws, please, no loud guffaws, please. Only because, please, there are politer ways.
Ask for applause, please, when there's a pause, please. Although we welcome praise, the echo sometimes lasts for days.
And days 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 and days.
Don't take notes to show us all you know the famous quotes. And if you refuse, don't clear your throats, or throw your crumpled programs, coins, or coats, or tell your later scintillating anecdotes. And please, no grass. This is a classic, not a class. If we should get rhetorical, please don't curse. Wait till it's allegorical and in verse.
If we should get satirical, don't take it wrong. And if by sudden miracle a tune should appear that's lyrical, don't hum along.
Do not intrude, please. If someone's nude, please. She's there for mood, please. And mustn't be embraced. If we are crude, please. Don't sit and brood, please. Let's not be too straight-laced. The author's reputation isn't based on taste.
So please, don't fart. There's very little air and this is art. And should we get offensive, don't lose heart. Pretend it's just the playwright being smart. Eventually we'll get to the catharsis and depart. So now,
But first, we start.
Something familiar, something peculiar, something for everyone accompanying tonight. Something not healing, something not falling, something for everyone accompanying tonight. Nothing with kings, nothing with crowns. Sing on the lovers, lighters and clowns. Old situations, new complications. Nothing portentous or polite. Tragedy tomorrow, comedy tonight.
something convulsive, something repulsive.
Something for everyone accompanying tonight. Something aesthetic, something frenetic.
Something for everyone accompanying tonight.
Nothing of gods, nothing of fates. Really of fears, we'll just have to wait.
Nothing that's normal, nothing that's normal. No recitations to recite. Open up the curtain. My name is Mark Morgan. I am newly on the board here at Boston at the Beethoven Society. I'm very pleased to be doing that. Our show this evening, Stephen Sondheim was born in 1930 and then died just last November. And so this is a celebration of his life and work. He, along with his mentor, Oscar Hammerstein, who was also kind of a surrogate father to him, the two of them really invented and then reinvented the American musical. So Hammerstein started back in the 20s with Showboat, really creating the first real kind of Broadway musical as we would think of it now, and then doing that again with Richard Rodgers in Oklahoma in the early 40s. And then Stephen Sondheim, who again was his kind of a surrogate son to Hammerstein, and studied with him and was very close with him and learned a lot from Hammerstein. And then he went on in the 1960s then to reinvent that form and kind of bring it to, in many ways, where it is today. So a show like Hamilton, for instance, would not exist without Stephen Sondheim, and he actually had a fair bit of input on that show with Lin-Manuel Miranda, who was kind of his protege in some ways as well. So the legacy sort of continues on. Tonight's show is not any sort of attempt to reflect the entirety of his work or his career. There are certain shows that we have no music from at all, but it's really more of a personal expression from these artists here tonight who have volunteered to do this. It's called, the call went out kind of like, which of Sondheim's songs mean something to you? What would you like to share with everybody? So that's what we're going to do tonight. It's a much more personal celebration than some sort of more academic, this is Sondheim's life and legacy kind of thing. So to start, we're going to do Everybody Says Don't, which is a number from a very unsuccessful show of his, Anyone Can Whistle, back from the late 1960s. It's a terrific number. Here we go. Everybody says don't, everybody says don't, everybody says don't, it isn't right, don't, it isn't nice. Everybody says don't, everybody says don't, everybody says don't walk on the grass, don't disturb the peace, don't skate on the ice. Well, I say do, I say walk on the grass, it was meant to feel, I say sail, tent to the windmill, and if you fail, you fail. Everybody says don't, everybody says don't, everybody says don't get out of line. But when they say that then, lady, that's a sign. 9 times out of 10, lady, you are doing just fine. Make just a ripple, come on, be brave. This time a ripple, next time a wave. Sometimes you have to start small, climbing the tiniest wall. Maybe you're going to fall, but it's better than not starting at all. Everybody says don't, everybody says wait, everybody says his wife doesn't rock the boat, mustn't touch a thing. Everybody says don't, everybody says wait, everybody says can't fight City Hall, can't upset the cart, can't laugh at the king. Well, I say try, I say laugh at the king so they'll make you cry. Lose your poise, fall if you have to, but lady, make a noise. Everybody says don't, everybody says can't, everybody says wait around for miracles, that's the way the world is made. I insist on miracles, if you do them
on the stairs. I was caught unawares, and I thought, well, he cares. This is more than just malice. Better stop and take stock while you're standing here stuck on the steps of the palace. You think, what do you want? You think, make a decision. Why not stay and be caught? You think, well, that's a thought. What would be his response? But then, what do you think if he knew who you were when you know that you're not what he thinks that he wants? And then what if you are what a prince would envision? Although how can you know who you are till you know what you want, but you don't? So then which do you pick? Where you're safe out of sight and yourself, but where everything's wrong? Or where everything's right, but you know that you'll never belong? And whichever you pick, do it quick, 'cause you're starting to stick to the steps of the palace. It's your first big decision. The choice isn't easy to make. To arrive at a ball is exciting and all. Once you're there, though, it's scary. And it's fun to deceive when you know you can leave, but you have to be wary. There's a lot that's at stake, and you stall long enough because you're still standing stuck in the stop on the steps. Better run along home and avoid the collision. You'll be better off there, even though they don't care. Where there's nothing to choose, so there's nothing to lose. So you pry up your shoes, and then out of the blue, and without any guide, you know what your decision is, which is not to decide. You'll just leave him a clue. For example, a shoe, and then see what he'll do. Now it's he and not you who is stuck with a shoe in a stew, in the goo. And you've learned something too, something you never knew. On the steps of the palace. I remember sky. It was blue as ink, and sometimes I think I remember sky. I remember snow. Soft as feathers, sharp as thumbtacks, coming down like lint. And it makes you squint when the wind would blow. And eyes like vinyl on the street, cold as silver, white as sheets, rain like strings and changing things like leaves. I remember these, green as spearmint, crisp like paper. I remember trees, bare as coat racks, spread like broken umbrellas, and ponds and bridges, parks and zoos, ruddy faces, muddy shoes, light and noise and beat.
Sondheim was a famously precise, idiosyncratic, and extremely prickly composer. He did not merely write tunes, he was a true composer. Every tart, bittersweet, bitter note that he wrote related to every other note in the measure, in the phrase, in the section, in the piece. Everything is perfect. The same goes for his lyrics. Every one of his lyrics is designed to be wrapped up intimately with the music. The two things are inextricable. And yet, tonight I'm going to do a piece without lyrics. I shudder to think what Sondheim might have thought about me kind of slathering my generic jazz voicings over his fastidiously crafted lines, and Wayne knows exactly what I'm talking about. Every note is perfect and counts. But I feel like I have an imprimatur on this because 30 years ago, some really terrific New York producers and highly experienced musical theater and film people produced an album of Sondheim's music by jazz musicians. And Sondheim himself guested on the record, and rarely for him actually performed. So I feel like I've got permission to do this somehow. So I'm going to, in that spirit of sort of wild, transgressive, dark, and violent, just like the character of this song, I'm going to give you my interpretation of the Ballad of Sweeney Todd.
2020, a new production of Company was set to open on Broadway, and it was remarkable in that they were switching up the genders of a number of the characters, including the lead, Bobby. And Sondheim was initially rather resistant to this idea, to say the least, but came around to it in the end and was able to see it in previews at that time anyway, and evidently, from what I've heard, really enjoyed it, this kind of reimagining of that show. Then, of course, that was March of 2020, and a certain thing called COVID happened, and the show shut down before it officially opened, I think. But it was able to be revived when the theaters reopened last season, and it's been playing, is going out on tour now, as I understand. So anyway, we thought we would sort of piggyback on that tonight with this little rendition of the little things you do together, and kind of switch up some of the genders for this, this particular song as well.
It's the little things you do together, that make perfect relationships.
The hobbies you pursue together, savings you accrue together, books you misconstrue together, that make a marriage a joy.
It's the little things you share together, swear together, wear together, that make perfect relationships.
The concerts you enjoy together, neighbors you annoy together, children you destroy together, that keep a marriage intact.
It's not so hard to be married when to maneuver as one.
It's not so hard to be married,
and Jesus Christ, is it fun? It's sharing little wings together, drinks together, cakes together, that make perfect joy. It's bargains that you shop together,
cigarettes you stop together,
clothing that you swap together, that make perfect relationships. It's not talk of God and a decade ahead that allows you to get through the worst. It's I do and you don't and nobody said that, and who brought the subject up first? It's the little things, the little things, the little ways you try together, cry together, lie together, that make marriage a joy.
Becoming a cliche together, growing old and gray together, withering away together, that make marriage a joy.
It's not so hard to be married. It's much the simplest of crimes. It's not so hard to be married.
I've done it 3 or 4 times.
It's people that you hate together, bake together, date together, that make perfect relationships. It's getting a divorce together, that make perfect relationships. Kiss, kiss. Still, you're not alone. No one is alone. Truly, no one is alone. Sometimes people leave you halfway through the wood. Others may deceive you. You decide what's good. but no one is alone. People make mistakes. Fathers, mothers, people make mistakes, holding to their own, thinking they're alone. Honor their mistakes. Everybody makes one another's terrible mistakes. Witches can be right, giants can be good. You decide what's right, you decide what's good. Just remember, someone is on your side, someone else is not. While you're seeing your side, maybe you forgot they are not alone. No one is alone. Hard to see the light now. Just don't let it go. Things can come up right now. We can make it so. Someone is on your side. No one is alone.
Greenfinch and linnet bird, nightingale, blackbird, how is it you sing? How can you jubilate sitting in cages, never taking wing? Outside the sky waits, beckoning, just beyond the bars. How can you remain staring at the rain, burdened by the stars? How is it you sing? Anything? How is it you sing? Greenfinch and linnet bird, nightingale, blackbird, how is it you sing? Whence comes this melody constantly flowing? Is it rejoicing or merely hallowing? Are you discussing or fussing or simply dreaming? Are you crowing? Are you screaming? Ring dove and robinet, is it for ages singing to be sought? Have you decided it's safer in cages, singing when you're told? My cage has many rooms, damask and dark. Nothing here sings, not even my lark. Larks never will you know when they're captive. Teach me to be more adaptive. Greenfinch and linnet bird, nightingale, blackbird, teach me how to sing. If I cannot fly, let me sing.
enjoying performing in my element, which is playing piano, accompanying myself, singing, and since I'm a singer-songwriter, I've sort of taken a little liberties, kind of like how Joe did. So this is going to be more singer-songwriter feel. I'm starting with Not While I'm Around from Sweeney Todd. Nothing's gonna harm you, not while I'm around. Nothing's gonna harm you, no sir, not while I'm around. Demons are prowling everywhere nowadays. I'll send them howling, I don't care, I've got ways. No one's gonna hurt you, no one's gonna dare. Others can desert you, not to worry, whistle, I'll be there. Demons will charm you with a smile for a while, but in time, nothing can harm you, not while I'm around. Not to worry, not to worry. I may not be smart, but I ain't dumb. I can do it, put me to it. Show me something I can overcome. Not to worry, Mom. Being close and being clever ain't like being true. I don't need to, I would never hide a thing from you. Like nothing's gonna harm you, not while I'm around. Nothing's gonna harm you, darling, not while I'm around. Demons are prowling everywhere with a smile, but in time, nothing can harm you, not while I'm around. Careful the things you say. Children will listen. Careful the things you do. Children will see and learn. Children may not obey, but children will listen. Children will look to you for which way to turn, to learn what to be. Careful before you say, listen to me. Children will listen. Careful the wish you make. Wishes are children. Careful the path you take. Wishes come true, not free. Careful the spell you cast. Not children will listen.
In rehearsal, I'll say I didn't get the first note right, so I'm hoping.
Leave you, how could I leave you? How could I go it alone? Could I wave the years away with a quick goodbye? How do you wipe tears away when your eyes are dry? Sweetheart, lover, could I recover? Give up the joys I have known. Never fetch your pills again every day at 5. Not to have those dinners for 10 elderly men from the UN. How could I survive? Could I leave you and your shelves of the world's best books and the evenings of martyred looks, cryptic sighs, sullen glares from those injured eyes? Leave the quips with the stink, jokes with a sneer, passionless love-making once a year. Leave the lies ill-concealed, and the wounds never healed, and the game's not worth winning. And wait, I'm just beginning. What, leave you? How could I leave you? How could I go it alone? Putting thoughts of you aside, in the south of France, would we think of suicide? Darling, shall we dance? Could I bury my pain on a terrace in Spain? Would it pass? It would pass. Could I bury my rage with a boy half your age in the grass? Ooh, bet your ass. But I've done that already. Or didn't you know, love? Tell me, how could I leave when I've left long ago? Love, leave you. How could I leave you?
Oh dear, can we just go back to the leave you? What are the words there?
Could I? Oh, could I leave you? Or the point is, could you leave me? Well, I guess you could leave me the house, leave me the flat, leave me the Brocs and Chagall's and all that. You can leave me the stocks for sentiment's sake, and 90% of the money you make, and the rugs and the cooks. Darling, you keep the drugs, angel, you keep the books, honey. I'll take the brown sugar, you take the spinach, and all of our friends, and just wait 1 goddamn minute. But leave you. How could I leave you, sweetheart? I have to confess. Could I leave you? Yes. Will I leave you? Will I leave you? Yes!
started quiet and slow, with no surprise. And then one morning I woke to realize we had this good thing going. It's not that nothing went wrong. Some angry moments, of course, but just a few. And only moments, no more, because we knew we had this good thing going. And if I wanted too much, was that such a mistake at the time? You never wanted enough. All right, tough, I don't make that a crime. And while it's going along, you take for granted some love will wear away. We took for granted a lot, but still I say it could have kept on going instead of just kept on. We had a good thing going, going, going. And if I wanted too much, was that such a mistake at the time? You never wanted enough. All right, tough, I don't make that a crime. And while it's going along, you take for granted some love will wear away. We took for granted a lot, but still I say it could have kept on growing instead of just kept on. We had a good thing going, going, going.
When Sondheim was writing the musical Company, the company's all about marriage, and it's a whole series of short pieces. Originally they were little one-act things about marriage by George Firth. And so they sat down to write this show together, and there was only one little problem, and that is that Sondheim had never been married and knew absolutely nothing about marriage. And so he called up his friend, the composer Mary Rogers, who was Richard Rogers' daughter, who was then her second husband, and they told her to come over and literally asked her to tell him everything that she knew about marriage. And well, he took notes. And that's what became the lyrics for Company, the little things you do together you heard earlier tonight. Also then into Could I Leave You, definitely inspired by that conversation. And now Getting Married Today.
Pardon me, is everybody there? Because if everybody's there, I want to thank you all for coming to the wedding. I'd appreciate you going even more. I mean, you must have lots of better things to do and not a word of it to Paul. Remember, Paul, you know the man I'm gonna marry, but I'm not because I wouldn't ruin anyone as wonderful as he is. Thank you all for the gifts and the flowers. Thank you all, but it's back to the showers. And don't tell Paul that I'm not getting married today.
Bless this day, tragedy of life. Husband joined to wife, the heart sinks down and feels dead. This dreadful day.
Honey, I can't find my cufflinks now.
They're on the dresser, right next to my suicide note. Listen, everybody, look, I'm afraid you didn't hear it. Do you want to see it? Oh, now I've got it too. Sorry. Can we go back? Dang it. Cufflinks.
Cufflinks. I can't find my cufflinks anywhere.
They're on the dresser, right next to my suicide note. Listen, everybody, look, I don't know what you're waiting for. A wedding? What's a wedding? It's a prehistoric ritual where everybody promises fidelity forever, which is maybe the most horrifying word I ever heard, and which is followed by the
like it or not, we'll want you to share a little, a lot of being alive. Being alive. Someone to crowd you with love. Someone to force you to care. Someone to make you come through, who will always be there, as frightened as you, of being alive. Being alive. Being alive. Being alive. Somebody hold me too close. Somebody hurt me too deep. Somebody sit in my chair and ruin my sleep and make me aware of being alive. Being alive. Somebody need me too much. Somebody know me too well. Somebody pull me up short and put me through hell and give me support for being alive. Make me alive. Make me alive. Make me confused. Mock me with praise. Let me be used. Vary my days, but alone.
Follies. And in this particular number, this is his most sort of operetta-ish number that Sondheim writes. With the exception of the harmonic language is much more advanced than most. It could come right out of a 1920s operetta.
Thousands of bodies dream
In the musical Sunday in the Park with George, we enter into the world of the artist George Seurat, and the French artist. And he's creating his masterpiece of something at the island of the Grand Jatte, which is a large canvas filled with all of these characters that he sees on the island in the middle of the river in Paris. And the largest figure that we see is right at the foreground. In the musical, her name is Dot, and she is his model and his muse. And at this point, George, who is obsessed with the painting, and the painting is made up of all these tiny little dots. They're not brush strokes, they're all little dots that then the eye mixes together to make the colors. And it has this sort of shimmery quality. But he's obsessed with this painting, and Dot has now left. And George sings about what it means to be finishing the hat of her character in the painting. Yes, she looks for me. Good. Let her look for me to tell me why she left me. watch the rest of the world from a window while you finish the hat, mapping out a sky. What you feel like planning a sky, what you feel when voices that come through the window go until they distance and die, until there's nothing but sky, and how you're always turning back too late from the grass or the stick or the dog or the light, how the kind of woman willing to wait, not the kind that you want to find waiting to return you to the night, dizzy from the height, coming from the hat, entering the world of the hat, studying the hat, reaching through the world of the hat like a window, back to this one from that, studying a face, stepping back to look at a face, leaves a little space in the way like a window, but to see, it's the only way to see. And when the woman that you wanted goes, you can say to yourself, well, I give what I give, but the woman who won't wait for you knows that however you live, there's a part of you always standing by, mapping out the sky. Finishing a hat, starting on a hat, finishing a hat. Look, I made a hat. Where there never was a hat.
3 years ago, maybe 3.5 years ago, I was meditating at the piano, and I came up with a piece that just sort of flowed out in about half an hour. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes the hat is finished right away. And it just came out, it seemed to me perfect somehow. And I always felt that as I was composing it at the piano that it should be a vocal song. I was hearing a voice. But I do not write lyrics. So I handed it off to a colleague and a collaborator, somebody who I accompany and we work with closely in a group called Tongue in Cheek. And I'd like to ask Gail Leondar Wright to just please stand up for a moment. Gail? We're very fortunate to have a lyricist in the audience. I handed this tune to Gail with a lead sheet and a rough recording, and I said, can you do something with this? It seems like sort of an elegiac song. I'm thinking about, sort of about Sondheim. I know he's getting old, and I was just thinking about things fading away, and it was a very general feeling. Well, lo and behold, a few weeks later, Gail came back with an absolutely brilliant set of lyrics for this song. It just brings me to tears every time I hear it. Gorgeous lyrics, and Mark does an incredible job singing it. So, as it turns out, it was somewhat prescient, and a couple of years later, Sondheim passed on, and Gail's lyrics were amazingly looking into the future, and captures a very specific mood. So I hope you like Tribute.
No pressure or anything now. So I say in my line of work, try not to suck. The lights dim on Broadway, under warm but darkened skies. People stop and wipe their eyes. A sweet intermezzo, tipping the hat from this world to that, from this world to that. sacred ground. Friends disappear. I know it's a blessing just to breathe the air they breathe. Just to breathe the air they breathe. Come stand beneath this dim marquee and gently breathe their air with me. Please breathe. I think that's just an absolutely stunning piece and an amazing feat of lyric writing. To do that to an existing, to write that to an existing tune, I think is truly remarkable. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I have to say, I didn't change a note.
Yeah.
It's exactly as it was written.
Yeah, just amazing. I'd like to thank everyone for coming this evening. There is a reception to follow directly behind you. If you are not comfortable still in this somewhat COVID environment of eating with people, you're certainly welcome to take things and go. That's perfectly fine. Thank you so much for coming. We do have concerts every month except for January. The next one is Eva, and lots of different stuff throughout the course of the year. So stay tuned to our Facebook page at the moment. Hopefully we will very soon have a website. It's almost ready. It's almost ready. We'll have everything listed on. Cast, if you can come up and get in place here. Bill, if you can grab me that music stand. I have the great good fortune in my life to have been in the Boston professional premieres of two different Sondheim shows. Assassins, back in 1997, I think it was, and then Sunday in the Park with George in 2001 at the Lyric Stage Company in Boston. And when Sunday in the Park with George, our technical rehearsal, which is the day where you go in and you put all the elements of the show together in preparation for opening a few days later. And that technical rehearsal was on 9/11. And we got the call late in the morning, early afternoon, that we were going to go ahead and have this technical rehearsal, which was in downtown Boston, directly next to, across the street from the Hancock Tower, all of which had been completely evacuated that day. And so we went and we had this technical rehearsal, and none of us were really sure about how we felt about going and doing that day, but it turned out through that day and through the rest of that week to be the absolute perfect place to be at that moment in time. And when we opened that Friday, we were the only show that was open in Boston, was Sunday in the Park with George. And the reason being, and the reason why they went ahead with it, is that it's a show that is the complete antithesis of everything that happened that day. It is a show about art and beauty and the creation of art and beauty. And I can't help but thinking about how that this time right now feels familiar to that moment, only elongated. And how coming out of this time of COVID, where even live music was denied to us for so long. So this time of uncertainty and not knowing what's next, and great upheaval and all of that, but again, to come back to this idea about art and beauty and the creation of art. And at this number, the end of the show, where all the characters in the painting come back together and sing together as they sort of recreate Seurat's painting in real life on the stage. And that's where we're at here tonight. So our finale is Sunday from Sunday in the Park with George.
Light bulbs are getting more efficient. They use a lot less energy to give you the light you want, which means you'll pay lower energy bills. Better light bulbs also mean a better way to shop. You're probably used to buying light bulbs based on watts, but watts only tell you how much energy a bulb uses, not brightness. If you want to know how bright a bulb is, you need to think lumens. The more lumens, the brighter the light, no matter the bulb. A traditional bulb uses 60 watts to produce 800 lumens, but this bulb delivers 800 lumens using only 15 watts. All these bulbs use different amounts of energy, but produce the same amount of light. How do you know which one to buy? To help you decide, light bulb packages will have a lighting facts label. It'll tell you a bulb's brightness and an estimate of its energy cost and lifespan. So the next time you shop for a light bulb, look for the lumens and the lighting facts label. It's a bright idea.
Telemarketing fraud is a crime that affects millions of Americans every year. Telemarketing scammers will say anything to commit fraud, even if you're the one initiating the phone call.
Hi, I see you're responding to our ad for a guaranteed line of credit. We believe that everyone deserves a loan. However, we do charge a small processing fee in order to get your application in the system. All I need is your bank's routing numbers. They're at the bottom of a check.
I was thinking of starting a business, but I didn't have the startup cash. My credit isn't so hot, so I thought this would be a great way to get the money I needed. I didn't realize it was a scam. Now I know better. Hello.
Mr. Johnson, we've got a credit card for you guaranteed.
Look, I'm not interested. Don't call me again, or I'll report you to the FTC.
Telemarketing scams usually start with a phone call, but they can also start with an online ad or a piece of mail.
I clicked through an ad on the internet and filled out a form. It seemed legitimate. They called a few hours later and said people like me were making lots of money with just a small investment. They said it was easy to get started and their business experts were just a phone call away. I didn't know they were a fraud. I still get calls for bogus business opportunities. I must be on some sort of list. But now I know better.
I understand you want to make money from home.
I'm not interested. Goodbye.
The Federal Trade Commission and your state attorney general are working hard to stop telemarketing fraud. You can help. Recognize, report, register. First, learn to recognize the signs of telemarketing fraud, like callers who ask for money first, or who want to know your bank account, credit card, or social security number. Scammers may even have your billing information before they call you. Often, they're trying to get you to say okay so they can claim you approved a charge. Second, if you have been scammed, or you think someone is trying to scam you, report it to the Federal Trade Commission. It's as easy as going to ftc.gov and clicking on the link on the right. It's more helpful to the FTC if you can give the name or phone number of the company that called you and the date they called. Third, join the millions of Americans who have registered their phone numbers on the National Do Not Call Registry. It's easy. You can register online at donotcall.gov. Be sure to complete the process by clicking the link in the confirmation email you receive. You can also call toll-free 1-888-382-1222 from the number you wish to register. And remember, although telemarketing scammers may seem friendly, they're anything but. They're trying to worm their way into your wallet. You can stop them by keeping your information to yourself, no matter how tempting the offer. Let's say goodbye to fraudulent telemarketers. Visit ftc.gov/phone fraud to learn more about how to recognize and report telemarketing fraud.
Would it surprise you to learn that millions of computers in the U.S. are infected with malware? That's a lot of computers. So, what's malware and why should you care? Malware, short for malicious software, includes viruses and spyware that get installed on your computer or mobile device without you knowing it. Criminals use malware to steal personal information and commit fraud. For example, they may use malware to steal the login information for your online accounts, or to hijack your computer and use it to send spam. An infected computer can lead to serious problems like identity theft. The good news? There's a lot you can do to protect yourself and your computer. One of the most important steps you can take: install security software from a reliable company and set it to update automatically. The bad guys constantly develop new ways to attack your computer, so your software must be up to date to work. Set your operating system and your web browser to update automatically too. If you're not sure how, use the help function and search for automatic updates. Don't buy security software in response to unexpected calls or messages, especially if they say they scanned your computer and found malware. Scammers send messages like these to trick you into buying worthless software, or worse, downloading malware. What else can you do? Use a pop-up blocker and don't click on links and pop-ups. Don't click on links or open attachments in emails unless you know what they are, even if the emails seem to be from friends or family. Download software only from websites you know and trust. Free stuff may sound appealing, but free downloads can hide malware. Make sure your web browser's security setting is high enough to detect unauthorized downloads. For example, use at least the medium security setting. Even if you take precautions, malware can find its way onto your computer. So be on the lookout for these signs. Your computer runs slowly, drains its battery quickly, displays unexpected errors or crashes. It won't shut down or restart. It serves a lot of pop-ups, takes you to web pages you didn't visit, changes your homepage, or creates new icons or toolbars without your permission. If you suspect malware, stop doing things that require passwords or personal info, such as online shopping or banking. Use a different computer, maybe one at work or at your local library, to change your passwords. Update your security software and run a system scan. Delete files it flags as malware. If you can't fix the problem on your own, get help from a professional. Your computer manufacturer or internet service provider may offer free tech support. If not, contact a company or retail store that provides tech support. Keep in mind, the most important thing you can do to prevent malware is to keep your computer software up to date. And remember, it's easy to find trusted information about computer security. Just visit onguardonline.gov, the federal government site, to help you stay safe, secure, and responsible online.
Shopping for a car? Applying for a job? Looking for a home? Or just getting your financial house in order? Then it's time to check your credit report. Good news, it's free. The law entitles you to one free copy of your credit report from each of the 3 nationwide credit reporting companies every 12 months. Why is it important to check your credit report? It has important information about your financial accounts, how you pay your bills, and if you file for bankruptcy. You want to make sure everything is accurate, especially before you buy a house or a car, or apply for a job. If you notice something wrong, contact the credit reporting company and business providing the information to correct the error. And checking your report can help you guard against identity theft. Visit ftc.gov/ID theft if you spot accounts that aren't yours. How do you order your free credit report? Order online from annualcreditreport.com, the only authorized website for free credit reports, or call 1-877-322-8228. You'll need to provide your name, address, social security number, and date of birth to verify your identity. Keep in mind, you're entitled to one free copy of your credit report every 12 months from each of the 3 nationwide credit reporting companies. So the next time someone asks, "How's your credit?" you'll have the answer. To order your free credit report, visit annualcreditreport.com or call 1-877-322-8228.
Many hotels, coffee shops, airports, and other places offer free Wi-Fi hotspots. They're convenient. Unfortunately, they often aren't secure. That could make it easy for someone else to access your online accounts or steal your personal information. So, what can you do to reduce your risk? Encryption is the key to keeping your information secure online. When information is encrypted, it's scrambled into a code so others can't get it. How can you be sure your information is encrypted? 2 ways. 1. Use a secure network to access the internet. Don't assume that a public Wi-Fi network uses encryption. In fact, most don't. You can only be sure that a network uses effective encryption if it asks you to provide a WPA or WPA2 password. If you aren't sure, it's best to assume the network is not secure. The second way to protect your information is to send it through a secure website. A secure site will encrypt your information, even if the network doesn't. If the web address starts with HTTPS, then your information is encrypted before it's sent. The S stands for secure. Look for HTTPS on every page you visit, not just when you log in. If you use an unsecured Wi-Fi network to log into an unencrypted website, strangers using that network can hijack your account and steal your private documents, contacts, family photos, even your username and password. If that happens, an imposter could use your email or social networking account to pretend to be you and scam people you care about. Or a hacker could use your password from one website to try to log into a different account and access your personal or financial information. Here are some steps you can take to protect yourself when you use a public Wi-Fi hotspot. Only log in or enter personal information on secure sites that use encryption. Again, look for a web address that begins with HTTPS. Don't use the same username and password for different sites. It could give someone who gains access to one of your accounts access to many of your accounts. Never email financial information, including credit card, social security, and checking account numbers, even if the network and website are secure. Don't stay permanently signed in to accounts. When you've finished using a site, log out. The bottom line, secure Wi-Fi hotspots require a password. Secure websites start with HTTPS. Remember, it's easy to find trusted information about computer security. Just visit onguardonline.gov, the federal government site to help you be safe, secure, and responsible online.
If you have a telephone, robocalls may be ruining your day. I'm Katie Daffin, an attorney at the Federal Trade Commission. If you answer the phone and hear a recorded message instead of a live person, it's a robocall. If the recording is a sales message and you haven't given your written permission to get calls from the company on the other end, the call is illegal, period. So, when you get an illegal robocall, here's what to do. Hang up the phone. Don't press 1 to speak to a live operator, and don't press any other number to get off the list. If you respond by pressing any number, it will probably just lead to more robocalls. You might consider contacting your phone provider and asking them to block the number and whether they charge for that service. Remember that telemarketers change caller ID information easily and often, so it might not be worth paying a fee to block a number that will change. Finally, contact the FTC to report your experience. You can do that online at ftc.gov or by calling 1-877-FTC-HELP. To learn more about illegal robocalls and what the FTC is doing to stop them, visit ftc.gov/robocalls. That's ftc.gov/robocalls.